Hey, welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to do a video of the latest version of ModManager, which should be being released soon. Um, One of the features of the last version was the lists I added, which is if you're not using them yet, and it's definitely the way to go. Basically, instead of creating merged mods and then creating a new mod out of that merged mod, the lists just allow you to just add whatever mods you usually play with. And just right click and save list. My temp mods. And just like that, it saved that list. So the next time you want to play, you'll come in, open your mod manager. Instead of trying to remember which ones you added, you can just click on this, load list, my temp mods, and they're back in there. And then you would just click the install list mods right there and install them. In the 1.4 version, one of the new features I added, mainly for people that create mods and use Mod Manager to keep them updated, is I added, if you go into settings, you'll see down here in the modders section where you can actually link to one of those lists. So if you go through and select all your mods that you like to keep updated on your GitHub and add them to a list, you can come in here, select that list, and then create a spot where you'd like all those pack files to be added. So where mine is just in release, under the same drive as all my other programs, I just added a release folder on there. Select folder and save changes. And you'll see a new button arise over here. It says create release pack files. So when I click this, it'll take that list that I selected, which in my case was my release mods, and it will excuse me, it'll go through here one at a time and add every single one of these individual pack files or mods to that folder that you selected, instead of having to go through here and right click add mod to game individually. It will go through. It will pop up a confirmation after it extracts and packs each individual one. I have to do that because what'll happen is Windows won't update the folders fast enough when it starts doing that, and it was creating errors. So I just needed a way for some sort of interaction to slow things down and refresh the screen. So that's the reason why you get a pop-up saying confirmation that it is done. Once it runs through all your mods, it will give you a confirmation that all your mods have been added. You'd be able to go into that folder and copy and paste those right into your GitHub. One of the other features I did in 1.4, I kind of started in 1.3, but I really finished it up in 1.4, was to make it skinnable. I started going through and redoing the design to match the new Icarus logo, and I got concerned that a lot of new users go back and watch the older videos, and I felt that if I redesigned it all, it might not be familiar enough that people would have problems. So what I did was actually make it completely skinnable. So I will go through and show you exactly what you can do. If you go into settings, bring up your settings screen. If you right click anywhere that's not on one of the components, it will pop up a new list. You can change the font color. So like if you want to go with like a deep blue, it will change them to deep blue or white, however you want to do it. The U asset font color, that is this color here. So whatever color you want these. So if you wanted those to say be like a dark red, you can do that. Granted, this won't take effect until you click on something. As you can see, they are dark red. The background color, we'll just change that to a black. You can see the background and all the openings is all black. Default button. So this is the default button when they're not pressed. So if you want to change that color to, I don't know, green, you'll see they all turn to green. And then you see when the mouse goes over it, that would be a mouse over button font color. So if you want to change that to a blue, so when the mouse goes over it, it changes it to blue. Same with all the other items. And then the pressed font color is when you actually press the button. So if you wanted to highlight, say red, whatever, when you press that button, you'll see that the font turns red. Same with these. When you press it, it turns red. The other settings on here, you can change the background image. So I'm going to go ahead and change this background image to one of the new ones that I have created. And new skin folder there. As you can see, it has the new logo, Mod Manager, and new graphics up there. And I'm going to go ahead and change the buttons. For the buttons, you basically have to create new buttons, but they have to be the exact same size. So if you open up, I'm going to have this available for download too. The new skin, you'll see I have all new buttons. The default button, the mouse over button, and the pressed button. And then the small. There's two different buttons. There's a large and a small. The small one, same thing. You have the default, mouse over, and the pressed. The skin, this is the one that I created that goes best with this color pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all this and put it into my mod manager. Close the mod manager first. Every time you close it, it saves whatever it currently has. So if I was to paste it in there and then close it, it would overwrite any file. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that, replace, and then open up the mod manager again. And you can see everything took except for the background. So I have to go in there and change the background. There we go. Let me drag this off the screen. And as you can see, it has the new version up there. The mouse over, you can see how it changes the font color and the background, and then the click. I designed these buttons off of the UI inside the game. You'll notice that when you go into settings, the buttons are just like this. They have a surround pixel that just goes around it, and then when you mouse over it, it changes the font to dark and highlights it, and when you click on it, it changes the font back to that color, and then it just basically just dims that whole thing without the surrounding. So if you decide that you don't like the new UI and you want to go back, or you change the fonts yourself and you decide that you don't like it, you want to go back to the default, you can just go back into settings, right click, and reset to default. You'll see everything goes back to default except for the background and the buttons. So for that, we're going to go ahead and close that down. We're going to open up the Mod Manager folder it's in, and you just simply need to delete the buttons that were pasted in there. So if we delete the buttons like that, and reopen ModManager, you'll see everything's back to normal. So those are the new features in the ModManager. If you guys have some ideas for different upgrades or features, make sure you follow us on the channel and comment down below and hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Thank you.